Welcome to 2 Minutes of Gaming, where we talk about the top video game topics of the month for 2 minutes at a time.
Show off.
Hey, I paid a lot of money for these things, man. I'm your host, Keenan, and today I'm joined by
James Bond, apparently, because I didn't get a heads up we in costume today.
Hey, it's Halloween, and here's the thing: we have a great show for you guys. We're talking about PlayStation 5, 2K. I mean, it works, but we're not talking about Halloween games. So I was like, let's dress up. So anyway, we're gonna start out with next gen. Visual Concept showed an amazing trailer as well as amazing gameplay for the next gen version of NBA 2K21. The current gen version continues to get slammed by user reviews on Steam, Reddit, just name any website the user reviews get killed. But this one might change people's minds. So Justin, what's your thoughts on NBA 2K21, and is it enough to change public opinion of the NBA 2K franchise? 2 minutes on the clock.
I have to say, first, wow. I mean, if anyone saw the footage, you can definitely see that clearly, maybe, just maybe, they spent all their time on the next gen and just did whatever they did with the current gen. Like, that tends to happen a lot when it comes to certain developers and things like that. We're going to put all our money here and, just use the previous assets, spruce it up, and there you go. It looks beautiful, man. It looks gorgeous. Like, the presentation is out of this world. Not sure why they showed that camera view when most of us play the 2K camera, but still, it looks so fluid. This might be my first next gen game when I get it. I'm very, very impressed with it. Steph Curry looks scary as hell. Just how accurate it was. Even details from the facial features, the sweat. The gameplay looks solid as well. Looks like a little bit of improvement too. So I'm definitely excited to see what's going to happen with this.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. You said it's going to be your first next thing. It's going to be my first, and it might be my only for a while, to be honest, because I'm getting Spider-Man on PS4, but Miles Morales. So all that being said, this is the first next-gen game that makes you say, oh my God, next generation systems, they're here, they arrive. No offense to the regular 2K21, but I just, honestly, I skipped it so far. I'd probably get it on sale. It was on sale, actually, for like $35 or $30 or $40.
Yeah.
Really soon, which is really soon. So, but I passed because, honestly, I might just wind up getting this one instead. It's an amazing experience. They did a great job. And the thing I want to tell people is that, yeah, you might have found a couple glitches early, which I'll talk about another time. But remember, this is the foundation for next-gen 2K11 game, 2K21, let's say 11, 2K21, 2K22 going forward. So we're in great hands right now. Next topic was a controversial one, and this is one that Justin, you sent me. At first, I thought it was much to do about nothing, but after further research, I realized that this was a damn good topic. So I'm actually excited to talk about this, but before we talk about it, let me read the quote that started it all. This quote came from Alex Hutchinson from Google Stadia. And this is what he said. Streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they use music that they didn't pay for should be more worried by the fact that they're streaming games that they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as the publishers decide to enforce it. So the question I'm going to throw to you, Justin, is should streamers have to pay to stream games?
No, because I already purchased your game, and I'm doing you a service by streaming your game to people who probably don't know your game exists. So, I mean, especially if you have millions of followers or depending on the follower count, this is how games become popular. An example of that is Among Us, Fortnite. Those games benefited heavily from streaming because truthfully, if it wasn't for streaming, I don't think those games would have been big as it was or as it is right now. So for somebody to go, oh, developers need their cut because you guys are making money off playing the game, but I already purchased your game. I mean, that's just like, once I purchase your product, I can do what the hell I want with it. I purchased it, so it goes back to that. I'm not sure you guys saw American Gangster. It goes back to that scene with Denzel and Cuban Gooding Jr. when he was like, Blue Magic's a brand name. And like Pepsi's a brand name. It's similar to that situation when he was saying you don't have to. And Cuban was like, I purchased it so I can do whatever I want with it. So that's how I feel like it's like, it doesn't make sense for developers to get an extra cut of that revenue. I don't see why. I mean, you already purchased the game. I'm pretty sure you got your money from the sales. So, no.
Well, we're gonna go overtime on this one if those can't figure it out by the clock. We're gonna do a little bit. But here's the thing, Justin. As a developer, I wish I get paid from a stream.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you something. If somebody picks up Dying in the Dark, 211CK, for our Dodgeball, any of my games, and they wind up getting a stream that has millions of views, and they have made more money off the stream than I have on my game, I'm gonna feel some kind of way about it. But the thing I will say, the biggest the thing that differentiates us between the music industry and that industry is you consume music by listening to it. Yeah. So by a streamer playing music, they're pretty much giving you that person's content. Now, when a streamer is playing a game, like you talked about the marketing, which I'll get into in a second, the way we consume games is by playing them. So the streamer is not giving you a controller or anything, which that might be another story later in the future.
Yeah.
But for now, the streamer is just showing you, and like you said, Justin, it is advertisement. But I will say, for single player indie games, I don't think it helps. I think it actually hurts, which is another reason why I'm not giving out mini games going forward.
Yeah.
But I think for online multiplayer games, Fall Guys was another one that you in that same category with Fortnite, all of them, Among Us. Those games, people watch them and they want to play them. I want to go in next, But I do think single player games that have like a twist at the end of the story, people watch it and they feel like, I'm good. I already saw it, And when you have a narrative based game like what was I forget the PlayStation game with the it was like a very early game about like monsters and stuff. But when you have a game, like not Too Human. Beyond, I'm thinking of that game, Beyond Human. When you have those type of games that are heavy in the story, those games people can just watch.
Yeah.
And then they're pretty satiated.
Before we go to the next topic, maybe if that's the case, then streaming services that host these streamers need to cut deals with developers. If it's something like that, I can see, okay, you guys are going to stream my game, my product. I want a cut of your revenue sales, the company, not the streamers, but the actual company's revenue. I can see that. Like, okay, that seems like a fair deal.
And here's the last thing I'll say before we move on. And this is for all my developers out there, and you're developing anything. When you have a game that you feel like might not benefit too much off of streaming, like I said, those single player experiences, do not give out a ton of free copies. Let them pay for it. If a streamer has 1,000 views on it or whatever, great. You got their money, so you're good. You did something from that. But when we start to give away so many keys of our game, which I have done before with Dying in the Dark, then it becomes an issue because, like the person said, they're not paying for the game. And they're getting money off of it. So it's a win-win for them. So enough of that topic. All right. Next gen's coming up. This is the last show until the new systems be out. How exciting is that? Next show we'll have the systems out and we'll talk more about them. Yeah. But we not only there are some cool games like NBA 2K21, but there are some really cool features. Now, one of the features that Xbox has is something called Quick Resume. And the other one is called, and another feature that PlayStation 5 showed is a feature that allows you to get in-game hints. So, Justin, I'm going to start this one out. Let me know what I think about this because I want to see, Justin, which of the two that you are more excited about. But before you go, let me kind of give my 2 minutes on it. 1 minute on it, I should say. Both of these features are great. Justin, I want both of them. I want both consoles to have both of them. And if the console launches without one of them, they need to update it because. So the Quick Resume. Now, for me, when PlayStation 4 came out, it had some great games. One of my favorite consoles of all time. But my favorite feature is the single game Quick Resume. So when I play a game, I'm right in the middle of a boss, and something happens where as an adult, you can't sit there and play games all day. Sometimes you got to go to work, you got to run out. So what I would do is I would just pause the game, put the PlayStation in sleep mode. Now you can do that with, I think, 5 or 6 games in Xbox Series X. So you can have 5 or 6 games going, jump in, jump out. So you can imagine it, Justin. You're playing 2K21, you're in the second quarter, you got to pause it. Next thing you know, you're stuck at Final Fantasy or something, or whatever game, and you're like, you know what? I got to jump in and finish this boss. Jump in, finish the boss, you pause that. So again, you have no loading times if you're playing more than 5 games. That's another story. One thing I'll say real quickly, only a couple more seconds, about the PlayStation 5, what I love, that because Justin, most games I don't need help. But there are some games where I'm like, where the hell you got to go? What do you got to do? I'm totally confused. And then I'll pull out my phone and go to YouTube and all that stuff like that. I think this is great to have a YouTube-style feature in the actual game where a little box comes up and shows you exactly where you're at and guides you. So, Justin, I know it took a lot of time, but what's your thoughts on these features you like best?
I like the Xbox One better because that will really, really help in RPGs, especially in areas where you cannot save and you got something to do.
Yeah,
that would be perfect for me, especially like I could use that in Xenoblade right now for my Switch, where I just basically had to put it in sleep mode and I'm just, it's back to where I'm at. But it would be nice to just exit the game and then boom, it's literally right there. Not a fan of the in-game tips with the PS5, mainly because for me personally, that's going to take me out of the game. And I'm the type of guy that I will struggle for a very, very long time to try to figure it out. And then I will resort to that. So to have that feature immediately right there is a little bit too tempting for me. So I would rather just go, like you just described, just to go to YouTube or something like that and just look for a walkthrough real quick for that particular part. I mean, it is a nice feature and idea, but for me personally, I think that's going to take me out of it. And it kind of feels like it's hand-holding in a way for players. That's just my opinion.
It really is. Great. That was a great point. Sony. So, big PS4 update.
Okay.
One could have been good. One was perceived really bad. Which of the two pissed you off more, Justin? The first update being that now they are recording voice chats was one update, which you could talk more about, elaborate on. And the second was they updated trophies.
Wait. They updated the trophies? That I didn't know.
Yeah. So, Justin, go to turn your PlayStation. I know we're right in the middle of the show. Who cares? But
yeah, it's okay.
Turn the PlayStation on. And remember how you used to have a level? There's no more level. There's a random. Check out the number.
I'm on right now.
Look at mine too.
Is that what, trophies, right?
Yeah, under trophies.
You said, what the hell?
Yeah, told you, man.
Yeah, I was like level 14, 15, whatever. Like,
yeah.
Why is that going? It's just.
I have no idea.
It's just numbers. That means nothing.
So I'm gonna guess you don't like this feature. Anyway, Justin, put the PlayStation off. We gotta get back to the show.
Yeah.
Pause it. Throw us what we just talked about. So out of those are two really bad features now that you think about it. Which of these two pisses you off more?
I think everybody just saw my reaction of what really just pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Like, dude, what's the point of the trophies now? It's just like, hey, you have 4,000 trophies. What level am I? That gave us bragging rights. Like, why did someone get triggered by this? Like, this person has more trophies than me. I want that gone. Like,
what's your thoughts on the
okay, the chat thing? That's a little scary.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're playing online, you're in a party, or if you're just playing online in general, and we're gamers. Gamers trash talk. That's the culture. As much as they're trying to change that, that is gaming culture when you're playing online, or even if you're in a party. So if you have a friend that's easily sensitive, they could just send that audio recording to Sony, and then you can face some type of consequences. That's bullshit, man. Like, if you're trying to create a safe space for more gamers, it's just like, first of all, the mute button is just for a reason. You could always play online without audio. So it's like, come on, stop being babies. This is how it is. This is how it's always been. Like, toughen up, get a backbone. Go ahead, Keenan.
No, yeah, totally agree. It's really sad that we're in a point where, like, time after time, our freedom is being tested, and like I said, the fact that we're gonna have our our chats recorded, that's tough. But again, I don't really use it, so I don't care. But I care more about the trophies. But at the same time, I kind of expected it. Coming from Xbox, Justin, from Xbox 360, they had the perfect achievement system. The numbers actually made sense. I loved it. So when I came over to PlayStation, PS4, I was like, okay, well, they have levels, kind of get it. And I was busting my ass, Justin, to get levels. And I felt good when I got to certain levels that no offense, but I mean, you're past me, but a lot of my other friends that weren't at. And I'm like, okay, now we just have these random numbers which make no sense at all. So you know what? I'm starting to care less and less about trophies at this point. So, all right, next topic. What are you playing, Justin? So, new systems aren't out. A lot of games. Not the biggest time right now for a lot of new games. So, what have been holding you down?
Xenoblade. I am at the last level. I mean, I'm at the final boss. Mm-hmm. I have to grind a little bit, just like probably probably 4 more levels to really stand a chance with him. And it's a little difficult because you can't save once you enter the certain zone, and it's going to be waves and waves of enemies. You know how typical JRPGs are. I just purchased No More Heroes 1 today, so I'm really happy about that. Nintendo finally released 1 and 2 for the Switch. I guess they're doing it because 3 is on its way. So I'm going to be going through, that's the next game after Xenoblade. And I downloaded the demo of, which we'll mutually talk about, of Hyrule Warriors, which I find very, very satisfying. A little bit repetitive, but that's all Dynasty Warriors type of games. But I'm very happy with the game so far. I'm really curious to see the story. I like the presentation. Combat is going to get a little bit used to because I'm playing it like my mind is trained like Breath of the Wild. So I'm playing it like a Zelda game, but this is just a straight hack and slash. So it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of Persona 5S, which we still have in America. Anyway, but we played the Japanese demo where, it took a slower RPG and it kind of sped it up and made it a little bit of a button smasher. Yeah. I really do like this new Zelda. I'm actually excited for it. It's my most anticipated release coming up rest of this year. It is, even the demo is getting kind of repetitive. It is pretty cool, the moves, and they have a super attack, which you did a great job. Just, the footage in front of us is Justin playing. So great job with that. But also playing Final Fantasy, finally beat Final Fantasy 15.
Congrats.
There's so many great games on sale. Every week there's a new game on sale. And that was one that I bought, I think, the Royal Edition for like $20, $15, maybe. I don't know. It was really cheap. And I absolutely loved it. Not my favorite Final Fantasy, but maybe my favorite Final Fantasy ending. Ending was very emotional, very heartfelt, and just, lastly, I'm going to say that last chapter, for those who played it, that was the most intense chapter I have ever played, probably in my life, as far as video games. And I'm putting it up there with Ninja Gaiden style, because the rest of the game, and I will move on after this, the rest of the game has a softer tone to it. Like Justin, you'll see like Cindy and stuff. Wasn't it Cindy? Her tits are like out the hair, and then it's like really fun and funny, and you have this like kind of comical tone to the game. So some parts to a certain extent, and then it gets to the point where that last chapter where your whole town, which you was able to drive around and stuff, is just full of monsters some of them are stronger than you. And it's just this depressing feel. Then you go into a place which kind of feels like hell, where there's monsters have taken over the city everywhere. And I mean, there's monsters that, like I said, I can't even defeat. They had one monster that came out, Justin. They said that it was like a level 100 and something.
Yeah.
And I just ran. I was like, I'm not gonna. But that's the kind of tense pressure that you have there. So Final Fantasy 15 definitely. It's on sale like all the time, so please grab that. All right, freestyle round. For those who don't know, new to the show, take this round to just throw it out there and just talk about whatever you want. So Justin, what's been on your mind lately?
Okay, recently CD Projekt Red delayed Cyberpunk 2077 again. And when it comes to these big budget games, it's expected. So one of the developers posted. Usually, when people claim they have death threats, they never post it. They just say, "Oh, I'm being threatened," and sometimes I'm just like, "Look, prove it, show it, or just don't mention it." So this one actually did post the death threats, and this guy, and I think I still have it, and I'm gonna read it real quick. So the death threats say, "I know where you live, bro. Release the game or you're finished. Release Cyberpunk or you and your family will be persecuted. I will burn you alive if you don't release this game." Now, some might be going, "Oh my God, that's not too bad. It's like maybe they're just trolling." It doesn't matter what it is. The guys are trolling or everything else. First of all, this is the part of geek culture, gaming culture I cannot take. The obsessive people who absolutely have no life of their own and they live in these fictional worlds and they get this attachment to these fictional characters that they live their lives through this fictional thing. Second of all, if you are an 80s baby, 90s baby, the first thing you know in gaming is never plan your day's time off as a working person around a game release. I might go a little bit long, I'm sorry, but yeah, never. I learned that from Kingdom Hearts to never take a day off hoping that a game's gonna be released that day. Every time I took off for, I think it was for Kingdom Hearts 3, or no, Kingdom Hearts 2, I think it was. It got delayed at one point, or this thing, and you just learn. So the fact that people are threatening developers who have no decision making at all, by the way, of whether a game gets delayed or not, that is the higher ups, by the way, geniuses. It's sickening. Like, what is your problem? And another thing that's been on my mind, and it's just getting at the point where I'm just getting really, really annoyed with it, is these so-called journalists who are doing reviews, and the only thing I'm reading reviews on certain games, films, and things like that, and the only thing they can talk about is how diverse and inclusive it is, not about the product. You are nothing more than a detriment to the product and to the people that gave you the review copy. It's not, they give you the review copy to talk about the game, not your politics. Period. That's all I want to say. It's like, it's enough is enough already. Everybody wants to be diverse. Everybody wants to be included. I understand that. But review the product that you're given. I want to know about gameplay. I want to know whether the film is good. I don't care about, oh, this person, this features this character, this features a black person, this features somebody from the LGBTQ. No. Is the product good or not? That's what I care about. I'm glad I got that off my chest now.
Get it off. Totally great. I'm gonna make this one short so we get everybody out of here. I want to say two things. And this is not to do with video games. We have an election coming up, and everywhere you turn, everyone's saying vote. I'm not going to sit here and say that. What I'm going to say is educate yourself on what you're voting for. A lot of times we go into a booth, we get a paper, and we only think about, well, I like Trump, I like Biden. Who cares? There's a lot of props, a lot of things on the ballot, congressmen, etc., congresswomen, that are very important, or even arguably more important.
Exactly.
That you need to learn about, and you need to study now before you vote, if you haven't voted early already. So forget all this, go vote, and get educated, voter education first before you vote. Nobody's talking about that because it's not trending, but it's the truth. Lastly, wearing a mask has become an issue with certain communities, mostly in the middle of the country. Now, what's happening is we're starting to get more lockdowns overseas and the middle of the country. We're getting spikes, hospitalization rates. 80% of hospital beds are full in certain places. It's coming back. I'm saying all this to say, if we do our part, if we did our part, months ago, social distance, wear a mask, we'd have had this virus under control. Now, unless you guys like to be locked down and have everything closed, then keep doing what you're doing. But here's the thing. If you don't want to wear a mask, stay home. If you don't want to wear a mask and you don't want to stay home, do me a favor. Don't go get tested. Because you want to have a party with your friends, that's fine. Right? Y'all want to spread COVID amongst each other? Justin, I don't know if you've seen, it was a video of college
I've seen
people, and they all had COVID.
Of course.
Right. Listen,
because they think they're invisible. They think they're invincible. So it's like,
I'm not here saying that it's a deadly. You know, we know the rate is super low and it's getting even lower now. The death rate, we get it, the fatality rate. So I'm not sitting here saying be scared of COVID or whatever. What I'm saying is when the numbers go up, things get locked down. The stock market goes down. People lose hundreds of thousands of millions probably of dollars because you want to be irresponsible. So again, I repeat. If you want to be irresponsible, be my guest. You want to have a COVID party and all your friends have COVID and you pass it amongst each other, I could give a damn what you do. But do not go get tested and fill up the hospitals because then it affects all of us. And it affects the economy. And it affects your elderly as well, which is you're probably going to pass it to your grandma and then she's probably going to die. You're going to wonder why. That's another story. But the last thing I'll say, Justin, is we have a stimulus package that's possibly coming. And please believe, the longer we're in this, the more small businesses will be closed. Okay, and I know people are at these COVID parties like, "Oh, it ain't me." Well, maybe one day you will have a small business. You understand? And then 2, the more money we get on the stimulus, the more we're gonna have to all pay it back on taxes later, 2022, 2023, 2024, whatever. So the longer this goes, even though you think you're not directly affected, you will be. So bottom line, wear a mask, social distance, or do not get tested and mess up the damn numbers and the stock market and everything for everybody. I'm done, Justin. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to the show. That was nothing to do with video games at the end, but hey, it's about life.
Later days, folks.